Hello and welcome to the DrivingMaul show. I was going to talk about Super Rugby show. I was like, oh my word, no. Copyright strikes all over the shop if we go down that route. No. The DrivingMaul show, where we will talk about Super Rugby and some other stuff as well. For those of you who don't recognise my face, that's because you might recognise this. This guy. I've got my finger pointed right way. Yes, that's right. We are live not only on New Zealand Sport Radio, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts, but also on Cornflake's Twitch and YouTube account as well. So 8 p.m. every Monday, New Zealand time, that is. You can join us to have a chat about the old egg-shaped game that we watch far too much of and waste too much of our life around. But how are you doing, sir? Because I hear you were watching, even going down to the lowly lows of Major League Rugby this morning.
Oh, the lowly lows. Oh, the heighty heights of watching 40-year-old men play rugby at a professional level in America. Oh, good fun. No, all good. Yeah, interesting to see how many randos pulling from the, should we call it the fairy hemisphere? If any of them are awake. So yeah, it should be fun.
On that one, so I think we should kick off with some old news, I think, rather than going into the
Fowler's lost. He has no idea where he is.
The old games yet. So we'll kick off with a bit of news around this place. So this brand new tournament, right? We're going to have like all the international teams will play each other in the guys in Six Nations will play each other. Then the guys in the Rugby Championship will play each other. Then half the North will play half the South, the other half the South, half the North in July. Then they'll play each other again in November. So everyone's played everyone once out of the top 12 teams in the world, apparently. And then they'll have a final, because you know what? Without a final, is it really rugby? So you know what? Let's add some more rugby in, because you know what? We haven't got enough rugby yet already, do we? Steve? I mean, Steve, do you have a shortage of rugby to watch?
I'm confused already just by what you just said. I'm completely perplexed. No, let's have another 600 test matches. Why not? You know, well, actually, the weird thing was we were discussing things about the most capped international players globally, and it's really the contrasting effect of like pre-2000s to post-2000s on test match numbers is astronomical. It really has gone on from, you know, test matches being a major thing to it's like, oh, we're playing again. So yeah, a lot more matches. Well, why not? Let's just burn out some more players. Why the hell not? Just kill them all. You know, do it every other sport. So let's just, if you're injured, you're in the scrap heap. Get another one. Get the next one.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's actually that many more games for teams like New Zealand, etc., because they already play 6 games in the Rugby Championship, right? 2 against Australia, 2 against South Africa, 2 against Argentina.
3 against Australia, technically.
Well, 3 if you had that one. If you had an extra blade to sub in anyway. So what you do instead is just play Japan once, Fiji once, South Africa once, Argentina once, and Australia once. So you only play 5 games. Actually, you play less rugby potentially, but I'm sure they'll squeeze in some extra games somehow. But to me, this Nations Cup thing really, this idea that the November tests. There's nothing on them there. They're just friendlies, and therefore there's no narrative. What story can we tell? There's all sorts of stories you can tell around history, around going for like European Grand Slam. There's lots of stories around that you can tell if you try, rather than just try and make it into, oh, let's have another competition. And then if you are going to have a final, the absolutely worst place in the world. Not quite. I'll be honest. There are worse places. Let's be honest. You could hold it in Moscow, but out of all the viable places in the world, people are actually going to bid. Hosting it in Qatar is pretty near that top of that list of bad places to go. They have 0 rugby heritage, right? Nothing. This idea of it's neutral territory for the final. What you mean? You're going to put it into a country where nobody wants to come into the stadium and watch the game. And on that one, and then you want to, there's the other argument. It's halfway between when New Zealand and Australia fly up to Europe. yeah, but I'll tell you now, nobody or very, very few people are traveling from New Zealand to go watch that game, right? You're not going to drive tourists to Qatar. But let's just make it very clear as to what it is. It's about the $1 billion at the end of the day for the first 8 years, whatever it was, or something silly. And look, if we've learned anything so far in rugby, is going for immediate cash tends to kill your competition over the long term. As we've seen with, let's expand Super Rugby because apparently the TV stations want more content. Yeah, that worked really well, didn't it, folks? Let's go to Japan because we want to get into that market. Well, yeah, that didn't work either. To me, the idea of going to Qatar it just about couldn't be worse as a place to go. So I have it something like if you either rotate it, alternate it between Southern Hemisphere and Northern Hemisphere, between the Rugby Championship teams and Six Nations teams. How about alternating it each way, and they share it around themselves if they want to, or something like that. So it'd be much better than this idea of a middle of nowhere neutral from a rugby fan's point of view. Just no for me, Steve.
I mean, you've smoked it already. You've already answered all the questions about it. It's money. Why are we even talking about it? Because they're looking at it because of money. Why is it an option? Because of money. Does anyone want to go there? No. But if they pay enough, they'll go to there for the money. It's all about money. It's what it is. There's nothing in there for the players to go to. There's nothing there for fans. There's nothing there in the way of rugby, like say history or rugby, like rugby cities or rugby regions or rugby growth even. Like, I mean, is there anything even in the way of growth that way? There's just what's there aside from bringing in money. There's literally nothing. And I mean, how does that give it legitimacy? You know, is it going to be how many years was that for? A few years of that deal, and then it's just like, well, that was a utter waste of time, and we go back to another failed idea. I mean, yeah, I do agree with the comment saying, yeah, short-term pain, short-term gain more is than long-term pain.
Well,
that's what it is.
Giving teams like Japan and Fiji more games, we'll see. So yeah, sure, there will be some lopsided results. So there is I can see the argument short, but that's a good thing, right? Now it's a bad thing that Samoa and Tonga will never ever play a tier one team outside the World Cup if you do this, which is where it was. Yes, it's really good for two teams, right? For Japan and for Fiji. For every other tier 2 team, it's a disaster. So anyway, that's a bad thing. Where do the billions go? Well, it's only 1 billion. It's not billions, but a billion is enough. But what will happen? Oh, well, clearly the Nations Championships teams that have generated the cash. So surely most of the cash should go to those 12 teams, which again means yes, Samoas and Tongas and Georgias of the world will get very little. And most of it will be going to your New Zealands, your Englands, your Scotlands, your Frances, your South Africas. That's where most of the money will go, just like it does from the World Cup at the moment, which is where most, as a real point, is where the money is mainly generated to run the whole international game.
By Montesaurus.
Montesaurus?
By Montesaurus.
By Montesaurus, yes, sorry.
Him and all his friends in his back pocket, that's where it's going to go. And they'll maybe get like $10,000 to paint a clubhouse or something, or to put up, one support for a new stand. Ooh. So yes. So anyway, we'll see.
There's some talking here about November tests are good, but July tests is irrelevant. No, I disagree. I think having a test series, some of those test series are the best. The way they're messing them around nowadays, where you seem to have 2 tests against one team and 1 test against another team, that I don't get. No, the July window is a 3-test series. That's the whole point of it. Unless you're going to be bringing in and giving tier 2 nations extra games against tier 1. Otherwise, sorry folks, but yeah, that's there's some nice histories, some nice storylines and stuff there with that. You can actually see plans evolving and how do teams evolve over 3 games playing each other. It's the only time outside of the Lions, and the Lions is held in July, really, let's be honest, that you ever get to see that kind of situation. really. So there's that one then. That was the fun and games. And I do like to keep things off the pitch for you because I know you hate how much you hate it. So
politics, man,
Paul,
love it.
What's his name? Paul Cully in the Post has a couple of good posts looking at New Zealand rugby and the disjointness between the provinces or NPC, Super Rugby, and New Zealand rugby, because they have that you could tour Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga over 3 tests rather than just one of them. True, you could, but and that's a bit different. But to getting rid of your kind of England's 3 tours to New Zealand, for example. Anyway, there's a big AGM or extraordinary general meeting. Has Paul Cully left Stuff? No, I think Stuff owned the Post. I think it's one of their sort of title, one of their French, one of their. I think it's probably one of theirs, or maybe he has left Stuff and joined the Herald, whichever way the other one is. But yeah, he's writing about this because there's a big AGM coming up or emergency general meeting where they're going to vote on some stuff and around the future governance of New Zealand rugby, which we've talked about before. But I love this one about the cash. Now, where have Super Rugby teams gone wrong? To me, and where's New Zealand gone wrong? Is that they're basically, I remember they're looking for more people to reach. And with New Zealand only having 5 million people, that means let's go and try and get fans overseas for a national team that's representing New Zealand. I.e., lose your core fan base because you're trying to concentrate on trying to get Americans to support the All Blacks or Japanese people to support the All Blacks. Let them support the national teams. Anyway, so Mansbridge, who is somebody high up in the Crusaders, the chairman or the CEO or something like that, was saying how they're obviously needing to get more money and how they had this proof of concept trip to Europe and how they raised 250,000 New Zealand dollars, so $250,000 in profit from going on their trip up to play Munster and was it Bristol? Wherever it was.
Oh, the Crusaders. Yep. Bristol and Munster. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And he talks about how amazing it was to be at the Munster game with a 40,000 people sellout. Now, the reason it's a 40,000 people sellout is because it happens extremely rarely. And so people are kind of, wow. When it starts happening every year, it ain't going to be a sellout. But quite is looking at where can I get more income for the Crusaders? Well, it's going and getting fans and going and playing in front of people overseas. And again, he's like, yeah, we don't make many money out of going to our pre-season games in the provinces. So I think we're much better off taking them overseas to Europe and making cash. Oh my God. Oh, you just, again, short-term cash for just killing off your core fan base even more than you've done so far. So it's just a you just beggars belief that we just seem to be making the same mistake over and over again. I'm wondering, why aren't we getting a different result? Why does this? I mean, I've got more money, so I should be happier. But where have all my fans gone? Because you did the dumb thing again. And breathe.
Did they make $250,000 off that tour? Is that just income, or is that after the cost of going, traveling, staying more, facilities, etc., etc.?
So what he's been quoted as saying is, we did better than if we played a pre-season game in New Zealand. If we'd gone to the regions, it's probably about a 250,000 difference between doing that and playing a pre-season game here. Basically doing that, going to the Northern Hemisphere and playing here. So now whether that's profit or revenue, I don't know, but still, it's a chunk of change.
Yeah, it defies a belief a little bit that you can fly, support staff, 40 people to England and Ireland, stay there for 2.5 to 3 weeks, pay for meals, accommodation, training facilities. I guess I'll just go to clubs, just all of that sort of stuff. Somewhere for them to stay.
You still have to pay the club to use them, right? You still have to rent Rent
Yeah,
training
I'd
facilities.
imagine so. Yeah, I'd imagine. Then you got to get them. You can't just be like, "Hey, training is at our stadium on Monday morning." You've got a car to get there yourself. You got to get the buses. You've got to get them all the catering. A lot of stuff you don't have to do. So I find it like that is a lot of money for I'd say minimum 40 people to do that for 2.5 to 3 weeks. And then they sell that stadium, but they won't get all that income. And I mean, I'm surprised they get any of that income because I thought the home stadium would be like, thank you, our stadium, our fans, our money. So how they've reached out some sort of agreement there to get any income out of that whatsoever is kind of surprising. Or have they gone, okay, Munster will come play you, but we're going to come play you for a fee of XXX dollars or XX percentage of intake?
It's either X percentage or X figure. But yeah, so they reckon they made, he added
crazy
$250,000 more by going up north.
Because they went to mid Canterbury and played a friendly there against the Highlanders, say, in the Oamaru or something, what would be a bus hire for a day, a few $100, a spread at full time, a few $100, $1,000, bang, there's your preseason game done. That just screams to me as, hey, we income 250 grand from that tour. Don't look at our outcome for that time period. Just our income from that period was that. It just defies belief how flights and all that could not cover that.
That's how it is. We hologram 2-pack says, I like the concept of across hemisphere club champs going at it once a year. I don't think that's too often. If it's sold out, may as well see where it goes. Club rugby is a national thing, and we have international rugby for cross hemisphere. That's why we have international rugby. Trying to recreate international rugby at a club level when we already play too much rugby. To me,
true.
I don't think. I just don't. I don't see the need for an international club competition. It doesn't really work in football, which is kind of where we try and copy things from. Let's be honest. The Rugby World Club Cup. No, sorry, the Football Club Cup World Cup Club. I can't say it. Doesn't people don't care about that? It's about do you win the European Champions League? And it's how many Champions Leagues do you win? A club competition. Not sorry.
Champions League is still a club league, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a club league, but that's the important thing. It's not this. It's not this. Even there, the World Club Cup doesn't mean anything. I don't think it would here. It'd be about how many Super Rugby franchise wins seasons can you get, not how many World Club. Yeah. So to me, no, I'm not. I don't see the need for it on that one. Lots of chat in the live chat about how basically you raise money via sponsorship and TV rights and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, look, and the TV rights were really high. But again, those things, people want to watch it on TV because it's a one-off. If it's every year, I don't think it's going to be quite as have the same appeal. Which is one of the problems with rugby is they keep on just provide more content, and you just saturate people and just go. And it's just too much for them.
Oversaturation. Yep, definitely.
So those were my newsy bits, I think. Apart from the fact that it just seems like every man and his dog is injured at the moment.
That's what I was going to say. My newsy bits is that we've probably lost about 4 All Blacks this week.
So go on. You do name them because I've lost track.
Oh, geez. Top of my head, I know Rico went down pretty injured. Scott Barrett went down with a knock as well. I know they're the two bigger of the two that definitely went down injury. I just seen. I was just looking at news.
Finau, another one as well. He was off, went off cradling his arm.
Does he count as a big X Factor All Black? I don't know. McKenzie thankfully went off injured, so that was good.
He's in the All Blacks conversation at least.
I was happy about McKenzie going off, and I was happy about McKenzie getting in trouble for not wearing his mouthguard as well. That made me smile and made me point at my monitor and go, "Ha ha, dickhead!" So that was a highlight of my weekend. But yeah, I mean, to me, Scott Barrett is the biggest one. Just come back, not only for the All Blacks. I mean, I don't know how bad his injury is, but for the Crusaders, that is huge if he's going to be out for a while. But what I'm reading here is it says, and this is from this morning, that it's unknown, a back injury. So unknown how long he's going to be out for. Rico, it's only a concussion, so I think he's missing game against the Hurricanes, but after that might be okay. We'll see.
Well, it's one of these things, isn't it? Concussions can either be 1 week or 6 months.
They can,
depending on, and you don't know with these things.
That's Rico. Who cares?
We care about player welfare. We do we want players to be fit.
Hey, if Damien McKenzie gets away with not wearing his chip mouth guard, then you can throw all your health and well-being out the window. If it's good enough for one, it's good enough for all. We all follow the same rules. If one sheep leaves the paddock, then he goes to the Wolves. So Damien, go to Scotland with Finley.
World League is it's all about cash. And you just want to get money. Totally agree. Sean in the live chat, he says, look. It's all about money, and also that we need more games for ladies is what we need. We need to grow the ladies' game. At the moment, the ladies' game, unfortunately, has been built on sand, and there aren't the players coming through. There isn't the player base to build up to it. So at the moment, it's being built on sand, unfortunately. So it's something that I think could collapse pretty quickly, and on that side of things. But it also needs to be built up to a level where the club ladies can be professional all year round. Having amateurs playing with full-time professionals who are playing international doesn't kind of work. And I'll be honest, I'm not an expert on it, and so I don't want to talk too much about it because there are much better people to talk about it, and I'll just put my foot in it and get it wrong. I will put my foot. But that's my kind of experience of that one. Rugby Gamer, the women's game does not suck. You're wrong. Mackenzie is good. Steve will disagree with that one. And Scott Barrett hasn't done shit all season. Well, you're wrong there because he's the whole reason that they won the game last week. Or the week
He's
before
been
last.
back for 2 weeks. There was the second game back, wasn't it?
Second game back, and as soon as he went off the pitch, they were in trouble. So he's a leader that the Crusaders need. He hasn't done a lot because he's been injured. But when he's been playing, he's been really good.
Leadership.
Yep. Apparently, Canada beat the USA in the Pacific Four Series right now by 50 points. There we go. So that's on the ladies' side of things. As you can see, that just shows you how out of touch I am. Hence why I'm trying to avoid talking about it because I'll just talk rubbish.
Oversaturation, man. I mean, there's sevens, there's women's, there's Super Rugby, Champions Cup was on the weekend. It's like it's too much, man. There is a lot going on to realistically keep up at a confident level to make opinions about of all that, right? It's too much.
When is Cody Taylor back? I don't know, to be honest. On that one.
I heard he was training last week with the view of the next couple of weeks' return. So maybe the next couple of rounds, last I heard.
So there we go. Rugby Gamer, one man doesn't make a team, but he can lead a team of other good players and get them and pull them in one direction.
Yep. Make average players play a lot better than they have been by the moment. Yeah. But to me, that's the difference. Like I think we've noticed with the Scott Barrett as to, like we said, of a Savia at the Hurricanes, right? A leader you can run with versus a leader you throw all your crap at, right? I think we've seen two different types of leadership. Or you rely on, but you throw all your pressures to, right? Like your pressure absorber. Scott Barrett's not a guy who you throw all your pressures at. He's a guy that just, he's a leader of the troops almost, whereas Savia is the guy that's going to put everyone on his back. Two different sorts of leaderships, and I think two very different ways that have transformed the team with their absence and with their returns over the last season.
Yep.
Oh, he's back this week. There you go.
That's what we think. Yep. So as he'll also help sort the lineouts out. Yep, he will absolutely. It'll be good for the definitely someone that the Crusaders need back.
And Tamaiti Williams is training too as well. I seen last week too. So he's back training and with a look of next few weeks as well. Speaking of Crusaders.
Ruby, maybe we should scrap the Champions and Challenge Cup and just make one big cup for all club teams every 2 years, maybe.
So, rugby game of the weekend, Super Rugby.
We're going to go on to Super Rugby because look, the European setup is a mess. South African teams, you can join us, but only if you play your knockout games in Europe. Pardon? You're either in the game, you're either in the tournament or you're not. Just a farce. It's a hodgepodge mess, is what it is, unfortunately. So let's move on to Super Rugby, as you say. First game of the weekend was, and he says, trying to remember what happened at the weekend. Oh, Hurricanes versus the Waratahs was the first game of the weekend.
Wait, before you start, how many did you get right?
I got 4 out of 6.
Yes. Increases the lead. Yes. Okay, I can carry on now.
Really?
Got 5, baby. 5.
You're at 5?
Yeah.
Oh, you went with the Highlanders, didn't you?
No.
In the end.
No, actually,
No?
that was the one I got wrong. I went with the Reds over the Crusaders. Was that where did you go for that one?
Oh, I went going Crusaders. Yeah.
Yes. Lads. Woohoo! I'm climbing up that leaderboard, man.
Yep. Exactly. The 10 minutes of Crusaders played with Scott Barrett was better than the 9 prior games combined. Pretty much.
100%. Yeah. Not even close. And I mean, he wasn't that. Oh, well, we'll talk about it when we get to it. But like, he wasn't like that influential as a player. I think it's just his aura of a team that he brings is massive. Oh, and set piece. But yeah, we'll talk to that when we get to that game.
So Hurricanes versus the Waratahs. The games came out of the blocks real fast on this one, and after about 20 minutes, you're thinking, geez, 21-0. Are we going to hit 80? What's the score going to be in this one? Thankfully, the Waratahs managed to stem the tide. But as I say, this game was over after 20 minutes, a 20-minute blitz by the Hurricanes, and then it was just a matter of seeing the game home. Really, Steve.
Yeah, this was. I'd almost call this a complete just about performance by the Hurricanes. Right, the first half especially, their set piece worked well, their attack worked well. I think they scrambled in defence really, really well because Waratahs did give them trouble. They did make inroads. They had a lot of players who individually made decent line breaks. They had a good crack. So, and they scrambled well to keep that nil intact by half time. So I thought they played really, really well in that first half as a complete unit. Like they didn't have any glaring errors or areas where they were exploited. I think they kind of owned that match in as many areas as they would have liked. And like I say, 26-0 at half time. I mean, we might as well have gone home and saved ourselves the trouble the second half with the way the Canes been playing this season. But again, the way Super Rugby's been this year, you can't really, even 26 points, you kind of go, okay, it should be over from the way they've played. But you just never really know how those teams are going to come out of the sheds. But yeah, really good first half from the Hurricanes. And you'd almost go as saying the Waratahs, again, like every week we talk about them, they look like they're almost going to do something, but they just don't quite do it. They make a line break, they get in the good areas of the field, and they do something dumb, or they make an error, or they do a stupid crossfield kick that just completely goes, or a cutout pass that beats everyone and goes into the second tier of the stadium. It's just been the story of their whole season, and they don't seem to be rectifying it at all. And yeah, I mean, what would have the mood been going into halftime at 26-0? You know, the heads surely won't have been very high on that one for the Waratahs players.
Oh, it's a very, very tough season for Waratahs. 2 wins, both against the Crusaders. So as players, you think, hey, we beat the Crusaders home and away. Brilliant. It must be a good year. Then you realize you lose to everybody else. So they go like, oh, that wasn't the no, Devil. When we made this deal that we're going to beat the Crusaders home and away, you didn't tell us we'd lose all our other games. That wasn't part of the deal. So yeah, that's they're a bit too disjointed. I mean, allowing 14 clean breaks and stuff, missing 41 tackles in this one. It's they just defensively is where they need to sort things out to start off with, because you can't be leaking points like that, especially as soon as you're out of the sheds. And we're talking a try in 4 minutes and 14 minutes and 17 minutes to allow someone to score. Pretty much, I mean, Morbius tried pretty much off the kickoff practically, allowing sort of repeat scores like that. It's something you've got to get much better at. You've got to get much be able to accept the ball and clear your lines in what is a structured play essentially. And if it's in broken play, it's a bit different. But have a structured start, you should be looking at at least putting a line out on halfway, not. And those basics you've got to get in place before you can start thinking about other things. They were lucky in some respects for this score, because of 4 conversions missed. So that's another 8 points that could easily have been added on onto this, because Brett Cameron clearly the best fly half in the country, apparently, according to Steve.
Number one.
Couldn't hit the side of a barn in the second half.
Doesn't matter when you're up by 40 points.
Well, true. But then again, you're not often up by 40 points is the idea. But yeah, look, the Hurricanes bounced back very nicely from that loss to the Brumbies. That wasn't a, oh my God, the Hurricanes are falling apart. That was the Brumbies are very, very good at home the previous week. And respect them. Sure, okay, they don't win by much, but they make sure they win. Right? Because when we get on to the last game of the round. And the last game of the round just was let's take all your cliches and throw them out the window for that one. So let's jump to the Brumbies versus Fijian and Drua. Because so the idea here, folks, what this game is supposed to be is a home side that is based around set piece against a side that throws the ball around and scores scores really exciting tries. So, what did the Fijian and Drua do? They destroyed the Brumbies scrum, and they had 15 put-ins in this game. This was a big set-piece game. The Drua had 15 scrums and 15 lineouts. The Brumbies 4 scrums and 13 lineouts. That's a lot of set piece in the game. And if you see that, you normally go, oh my God, the Drua are in trouble, because Fijian sides historically are not supposed to be good at set piece. But boy, they monstered the Brumbies scrum. Their 2 tries came from a line-out maul and a scrum half scoring off the back of a dominant 5-metre scrum. None of this flash play led to tries. Is this a good sign that the Fijian and Drua are developing this, or is it a bad sign that we've strangled the life out of their game, Steve?
Jeez, I don't think. No, I think this is a good sign. You know what? This is a good sign. This is a good sign because someone has a really good IQ about the game and has found how and has the ability to transfer. This is what we would like to do onto a Fijian team to say, this is what we want to do and execute it. Because typically Fijian teams are very good at going, we'd like to play like that. And then they just go out and do typical Fiji stuff. Someone, and you got to credit them. I mean, okay, I'll credit the coaches here. They have put a very good game plan together, and the players, again, credit to them, have executed it to a high level. They can say the best set-piece team in this competition has been outdone by the Fijian Drua. I mean, it's the thing is they need to take that and then somehow push this together nicely and make a complete team, right? We're 2 weeks away from the Drua being the complete best Super Rugby side in history. It's going to happen. No, it's good, man. It's good. Now build on that. Keep that in your game while influence the rest of it around it. They did have a lot of good big breaks as well. The typical culprits were certainly into their action. Your favorite player, Albu Taumata, he's just an absolute freak of a player. He just breaks the line for fun, that guy. So it wasn't a complete shutdown, that style of game, but I did think the nines, I think Matualu and Kuravoli both played really, really well. And such influential, not only positions, but also influential players around not only their pack, but also their back line. That was really, really key. And I don't think we've seen much of Matualu this season at 9 for the Drua, if I'm not too mistaken. So that's encouraging, if he can bring that sort of structure and leadership between the forward pack and the back line, that is incredibly encouraging. So, yeah, great to see. Now, do it again, right? That's what I always say. Do it again next week. Do it again on the road, right? We don't want to be just going, Drua at home, they'll win that in the rain. Keep the consistency. But, yeah, incredible performance. Almost, you started watching that game and you're like, oh, this is going to be like the Hurricanes game we spoke of. It's going to be 40 points at halftime and, being on the road. The cold of Canberra, like they say.
We were chatting on your Discord channel, right? Folks, Steve will throw the Discord channel in the chat, or shall I do that so people can people can find it? We were chatting on there during the game with folks, and my question was, okay, who's going to score the most points? After about 10 minutes, my question was, who's going to score the most points this weekend? Because the Hurricanes kicked us off with 40 points. The Chiefs took that to 50. are the Brumbies going to go past that, considering they were 14-0 up? Sorry, 14-0 up after 10 minutes. I was like, this is going to be another 40, 50, 60-point game. But to their credit, it wasn't. Look, it was cold and it was wet. It was not the kind of environment. Again, it was the kind of conditions that historically you'd say a Fijian team would struggle in. So from that point of view, look, it was a great performance from them. And again, taking penalties, playing sensible rugby. Now they were down 21-10 at halftime, and the try on halftime really, I think, made a big difference to them, gave them a lot of confidence going out second half, going in at halftime. Clearly, the yellow card for the Brumbies also helped them a bit in the second half. But to be they would be 21-3 down, and to get back, at least to get to stay in this game, to stay competitive. Yes, get back to 21-17. They got back within a score. Now, unfortunately for them, Rima came on and really did boss the game. When he came on, he had a great game. They had it's a cracking one. A bit of a strange one, taking the penalty with about 10 minutes to go. It's 28-17. The penalty gets you back to 28-20, which is still 2 scores. So it doesn't get you within 1 score. So that was a bit of a strange one so perhaps a bit of game management there as to guys we should have gone to the corner at that point. We've had a functioning lineup. They won 13 out of 15. We've had a lineup Mauls try. We know we can do it against them. The Brumbies are not the set piece team of old. Look, I mean, their tries through people like Ikitau and Toole. Their backs have been scoring more of their tries this season. So I think that penalty perhaps was a miss. That one of the few times I would say go to the corner rather than take the 3, because the 3 didn't get you within a score. You still had to come back and score twice again. So I think they should have gone to the corner there. But apart from that, I thought, very good game from the Fijian and Drua when they're totally in an environment that we would expect them not to perform in. I'm very impressed by that. And I think we've seen them do a lot of attacking, wonderful play. And you say it's just about marrying earlier on. So no, it's not being strangled out of them. It's just a matter of marrying it and getting it all together on a consistent basis.
I do wonder, like, you look at that penalty goal, and with 10 minutes to play, do you think maybe they were looking at trying to get a bonus point rather than trying to win the game? Thinking, let's take 3, let's get just back in their half and look for another 3. Try to do it with a couple of 3s, get that down to what would be 5 points. Not looking to win, but looking just to tick over that scoreboard and try get back within 7. 10 minutes is a long time. Like, it's not. If it was the 76th, 77th minute, you'd go, okay, you got to go all out here and try and get it all now. But with 10 minutes to play, you got to be pretty confident that you could chip in, get into their half, 40 meters out, and knock over another one. And Armstrong Ravulu has been a really, really good young player as well. He's been very, very impressive for his age. So, I kind of understand that in the sense that if they could have come away from Canberra with a bonus point, you would be partying up like they're winning that game. So to fall 1 point short would be pretty agonising, but I think certainly they need to be proud of that. And I think, watching post-match of that game too, the Brumbies, they did not expect that from the draw. The post-match, they were just like, they smashed us in our scrums, of shock. We got to work on that. Like, that's literally what the words of Ella Toa were in the post-match. So, hey, credit to them, man. They come for game plan, unexpected, executed, ticked all boxes except for winning / bonus points. So it's great to see, because now do we go outside of Fiji? They can win games, because if that was the Force, the Rebels, the Highlanders, the Crusaders, in their own backyards, a performance like that would put all of those bottom half teams under a lot of pressure, to the point that they should probably beat them if they can keep that up.
Oh yeah, anyone outside top 4.
Yeah,
that will be. I mean, the Hurricanes, Blues, Brumbies, and Chiefs have shown they're a level above everyone else. But that kind of performance against anybody else, and it's a win.
Winning,
absolutely. Yep. Which is not something we thought we'd be saying at the beginning of the season, or even a couple of weeks ago. So that's great, and just shows that they're heading very much in the right direction. There was not a lot. There was some kind of trepidation when Mick the Kick got the job there. He doesn't have a great history or have a lot of experience as a head coach. He's been a skills coach and he's been an assistant coach, but I'm not sure he's got that much experience as a head coach. Also, as someone who is seen as being a skills coach, you kind of think of him being a technical coach, but clearly what he is a communicating coach, because he's got these guys on side and to get those technical bits across and to get them to understand why. And yeah, he's clearly a communicator, which is great to see. I did get to interview him a couple of times last year, and it was always impressed with how he talked to the media as well, or to the two or three of us up there anyway, and how he came across. So yeah, really impressed with him, and let's hope he's there for a while to continue this rather than getting snatched up by somebody else with a bigger budget. But bluntly. So back to regular planning, folks. Regular program.
We got a zigzag.
Go back to the Rebels versus the Blues. The Rebels riding pretty high in this tournament, but still against the top 4 team. I think this is kind of the result we were kind of expecting. I'm not sure that we were expecting the second half shutout because the Rebels started well in this one. But the Blues essentially try to play too wide in the first half. They're a team that's got your Hoskins to Tutus, that's got your Akira Iwani style players, where it's bash it up, and we're going to use forward power to overpower you, and then open up the backs. We're going to basically go back. Your atypical, earn the right to go wide, and that's essentially been their kind of their overall game plan this year. It's not about suddenly blitzing you wide. They came across the Rebels team, who stats-wise have got a tough front five, and have got one of the best gain line percentages in the tournament. And they thought, you know what, let's not go through that. Let's go round it. It didn't work in the first half. They reverted to type in the second half, and boy oh boy, put the game away quite nicely. But in the first half, they were playing the wrong tactics, and the Rebels kept in it.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm allowed to talk about this game. I really am. I was raging. I was raging to the depths of the earth about this game. Look, this round for me, commentary-wise and referee-wise, generally over the whole competition, was the worst round of the whole competition. This was the pinnacle of the worst match for me. First half was really great for the Rebels. You know what the big difference was about this for the Rebels? They smoked the line out. They destroyed the Blues line out. They turned over the Blues line out. They disrupted the Blues line out. They disrupted the Blues. But what their problem was is they couldn't finish a cheese sandwich for the life of them. They should have been leading at halftime convincingly, comfortably, with the amount of chances, the opportunities, and where they were on the field for a large portion of that half. What were they out? Well, let's see stat-wise. Yeah, they dominated. Look, 60%, over 60% of territory and possession in the first half. They were killing it. They were all over that game. But yeah, just second half, shocking. They just completely blown off the game. But yeah, I think in the second half here, there was a lot of shocking things that in this game were completely missed. If there's not more to say off this game later on, as in reviews, I would be quite surprised. And, on a Monday, you'd think there'll be a bit to say about it already from this game. But, I've listened to other things I saw. Shoulders to heads and rucks when the Blues were on attack. The try was a double movement, but that's okay. The big judo flip, did you see that one? Off the ball judo flip? That was very impressive. A hip toss that WWE would be proud of. That is for sure. The direct slap down of a ball straight after he penalised the Rebels for a genuine up intercept. And what else have we got? The unconscious player on the field. That one got me dirty. I really did not like that one at all. A player down, clearly unconscious. I don't care what the state of the game is. Someone's about to score, what it is. I don't care. The game stops. That guy was out cold, and it went on for a long time before they actually stopped that game. So that was a bad one for me. And just overall, a general poor use or reluctance to review anything after this whole point of that the TMO is supposed to be for reviewing and processing. when none of that was really even happening in this game, where we had so much off the ball niggle between these two teams. So, it just looked really, really ugly to me. And considering before that double movement try that the Blues got, that it was 17-11, if I'm not mistaken, to the Blues. That game was wide open, and it did blow out. So, yes, the Blues definitely lifted their game. Rebels got shut out of their game. But also how much of the Rebels went, okay, now we're done. We're out. All of that pent up kind of attack and the momentum they had because they were in the game just shot down. It just makes you wonder how much of the heads dropped after that and go, okay, next week, let's move on. So, I was really disappointed about this game because it was first half. It looked really, really fun and exciting. And then you're watching more off the ball than you were on the ball in the second 40 minutes, which was a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I mean, from what we talked about earlier about their teams not being one player, but at the end of the day, the difference in this game was Mark Lear. We've been waxing lyrical about how wonderful the Australian wingers are, but look, he's still a class act. They got the turnover ball in that first half and scores an individual try, and that's the only thing that puts the Blues in the lead at halftime. Comes on. Sorry.
Silly errors from the Rebels, and lazy carrying or lazy reaction too.
The Rebels also had bad decision making. It's like I'm going to go for the try. Why? There's players in front of you. There's someone outside you. Pass it. But the difference was him. He executed. He got one chance in that first half and he nailed it. Mm-hmm. He scored the first try in the second half as well. That's if they'd had a Mark Talia, they win this game because they actually scored some points in that first half. But they didn't have that person who had the calm head to actually execute and to actually score the points. In that first half, when they did have the territory in the possession, and hence they go in down at half time. It's like, hang on, we've thrown everything at these guys, the kitchen sink, and we're still losing. You can see why they would lose their heads, and why the second half happened as it did. The Blues switch on; they've already lost their head, and that was a double movement try. But I think perhaps it had probably gone by then with that. Yes, it was close, but I think mentally the game had probably gone out of the Rebels at that point.
I still believe that the Blues would have won this game, even if all that stuff that I wrote down in my rage-filled Friday night, whatever night it was. I still think the Blues would have won that game. It's just kind of frustrating, and it just makes me wonder where that sort of part of the game is going, which goes back to the whole consistency sort of thing. But it also doubles back to me about what I spoke about last week, about all these amazing wingers in Australia. Darby Lancaster was very much an individual in this game. And a lot of the Rebels were, especially in that second half. Like you say, they butchered a lot, not only with their errors, but when you've got a 3-on-1 overlap and the guy just steps back. It's like Callaway did it a couple of times. We've seen Gordon do it. And those are guys to me that are like, they're the smarts. They're the clever guys for me that should be doing the better decision, not trying to take the team on their shoulders. So, look, Rebels, if they were on touch and on form, they should have been up by, this should have been 20-odd points to whatever for the Rebels plus at halftime. But they were never, I don't think they were ever in a position to really win this game by fact of their own errors and their own mistakes and their own poor decisions. The Blues defense was good. Like Hologram says in chat, it was good. But I think it was more the decision-making of the Rebels and their execution was what really let them down throughout the game.
Mick Rise now the test coach of Fiji, not the but he's still part of that setup. I mean, part of the there'll be links to that one. Sorry, I missed a whole bunch of comments, which I was bringing that one up there. Look, and the Blues are winning. The Blues are going well this season because of defense, right? People will sort of talk about their attack and yada yada yada, but at the end of the day, they've only allowed 147 points this year, which is the lowest in the comp. The next lowest is the Hurricanes at 195. So the Hurricanes have led in 50 more points than the Blues. The Blues clearly, defense is their thing. So you're not going to score a lot of points against them. So you do have to take your opportunities when you get them, and they didn't.
Yep.
And they
had a lot of
they just didn't do that. Yep.
It's a stack opportunity.
Next one.
Time in the 22. Do you have a stat for the time in the 22 for this game? I'm just
No, I
quickly
don't.
for the list of stats I got there. I think Divi first half Rebels would have smoked that. It would have been like, over 40 minutes. Not that we get, okay, over the 14 minutes we get from 40 minutes of action.
Yep.
I would have said, a good 60, 70% of that would have been the Rebels, at least in the Blues half. And, probably half of that would have been in the 22. They were already under attack a lot. But yeah, that would be a really, really cool stat to see if it was the case, because they were hot on attack for a lot of that game. And the Blues just struggled to clear their way out, didn't they? They'll kick clear, they'll just dust out at 22. And like I said, the Rebels line out was working really well. It was just, what we talk about with all these teams in the bottom half, Highlanders, I'm looking at them, inability to score. They get in the positions, they can do that, but they can't just do that final play and get over the line.
Yep. Moving on then to Tonga. Is this where the Moana should be based full time?
Yes,
probably. Boy, this was played in a torrential downpour. Now, thankfully, being in Tonga, it wasn't as cold as it was as it would have been down in Canberra on this one. Look, we'll go through our predictions at the end of the show after we've done the reviews, guys. We'll on that one. Now we're being asked in the live chat about our predictions for the Blues versus Hurricanes. We'll get onto that later. So Moana versus the Highlanders. If you want to know how the Highlanders played this game, there's one stat that sort of jumps out. Kicks from hand. Moana Pacifica 19, the Highlanders 31. They decided, you know what, the way to play in the wet is to cross field kick and then kick forwards, and don't bother trying to pass the ball because people will drop it. Just kick it somewhere and be the first person to it. And that's it was definitely they tried just before half time was more Aussie rules than it was rugby. The way they were playing. They handled the conditions better in that kind of sense. Again, one of those situations where you perhaps don't want to be playing with the ball. You want somebody else to have the ball, let them make a mistake, and then try and capitalize off that. Because again, this was another heavy set piece event. Moana had 11 scrums and 9 lineouts. The Highlanders had 14 scrums and 19 lineouts. That's again lots of errors, meaning that you end up with lots of set piece in this one. Who's got the better crowd, Tonga or Fiji? Fiji, put bluntly. But then again, look, they've had time there to. They know how many games they're going to get. They've got time to market it. They've got time to build the connections with the community. They've got time to actually build up that crowd. This is a one-off game in a torrential downpour in Tonga, which is a much smaller place, doesn't have the same population as well, and so yes, it's something they could build, but I think you do need time to build these things. You can't just expect to turn up and for people to go, oh yes, we'll all stop everything we're doing and come and watch you on this one. So those are my kind of haphazard, off the cuff, random thoughts on the game.
Jeez, you want to my big things from this game. Who made the most money on merch sales this weekend? Hands up, Highlanders. Because
other one. Any chance you have different jerseys that don't look the same?
That was point number 2.
Oh, sorry.
No, wait, go. Whoever decided that needs shot, right? I mean, dark grey and blue. Why was Moana not wearing the whites? Yeah, no, that was a shocker for me. Did you anything else on the kits?
No, there was.
Okay, that was point number 2. It was great to see so many Highlanders shirts. I understand why they wore though. That was their special heritage, whatever throwback shirt. But man, why Moana? I mean, it wouldn't have mattered because after probably 10 minutes, most of the forwards would have been in dark brown anyway. But still, I saw that and I'm like, wow, who's who here? Because I have absolutely no idea at all. But what was really weird about this, the weather, I mean, hey, this is a great game. Like I said about that Fiji game where they're all sliding around through puddles. This was just the same. Brilliant. Love it. More of it. Give me more. I want to see more puddles. I want to see more rain. I want to see more conditions where it's made and played like real rugby. This is real rugby, man. And this for the Highlanders, this was almost more of a home game for them than it was being at Forsyth Bar, because all the crowd were wearing Highlanders shirts. And half the team's from Tonga anyway. The Whakatava was a hero. That guy was just about being put on a crown. I mean, putting a crown on his head the way they're treating him up there. They love him. So, man, and his arguably best game in a Highlanders shirt in quite some time as well. So they really loved it. Great crowd. Good to see. Who cares about the weather? Anyone complaining about the weather can go and just fall in a puddle themselves, because, hey, that's soft. That's what rugby is. It's a winter game, everyone. Winter sport. It rains in winter, okay? And we don't all have $6 billion 4G draining pitches. This is the Pacific Islands. They play real rugby, man. They play real rugby on real paddocks, and that's what we love. But yeah, on the game, this was a match of who's going to drop the ball less. And I'm sorry, Christian Lealiifano, you lost clearly, because you dropped the ball a lot in that game, which is really, really sad to see. But entertaining enough game. Yeah, trying to force the other team. No. Trying to give the other team the ball like it was a hot potato or a bomb about to explode was really the story of the game. But yeah, I do agree with the comment in there. Who was it talking about? Cam Miller, Nocturnal, saying Cam Miller already stepped up. He did. Really good game from him. I thought he, in conditions like that, to control the game as well as he kind of can control the game when you're such a pivotal player, because kicking is such a pivotal thing. Really, really good to see. So, hey, really nice from the Highlanders. I'm surprised, they scored tries inside the first 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So that bewildered me completely. But yeah, all their tries coming in the first half and got a good win. It was tight. It was shaky. I thought they'd lose that one. But all in all, great events. But what I disliked about it was the commentators going, oh, it's great. Tonga really deserve this because they've done so much for rugby. Tonga deserve this every damn week, right? It's their team. This is every week. Get there. Put their little, cultural, whatever, what's it called? Cultural clothing and all that sort of stuff on. Make it an event. They had their royalties there and stuff. It was amazing. And why couldn't they do that 6, 7, 8 times a season? No reason why not. Because they would be just like Fiji. They would get out there, they'll pack it out, and they'll support it, and everyone would be there. And no, it won't be pouring with rain every single time they go there. It'll be sunny sometimes as well. So yeah, get them off to Tonga every single time. Great atmosphere, great game. If you don't like the rain, stop being soft. Go home.
Oh yeah, no. My only comment about the rain was purely on the fact it would reduce the
there wasn't aimed at you. There wasn't aimed at you.
But yeah, the condescending commentary around this kind of they deserve. Go away.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, you're right. The less errors in this one was what won it in the end. Cam Miller, All Blacks number 10, maybe? No.
Maybe in
not yet. Not yet.
World Cup cycle.
Maybe yes. Crusaders versus Reds. Now I could actually enjoy this game because my multi had already gone with the previous game, so I didn't have to think, oh no, don't win Reds. I could actually enjoy the Reds beating the Crusaders in this one. Now we've had some comments higher up about people won't want to play the Crusaders in come finals time. I'm sorry, but the way they're playing, absolutely fine. Yeah, no problems playing the Crusaders finals time at all. This again, it comes back to just being the cliched thinking of what's happened for the last decade. Well, the last decade, the Crusaders have never lost a game in playoffs or something like that, something stupid, or maybe they've lost 1 or 2. So hence, yes, on the last decade's form, you don't want to meet them in the finals. Now, but that's not this that's not this year. That's last year and the 10 years before that. This year, they can't string 2 wins together. So what you really hope is they win their last game of the season, regular season game, because that means they're definitely going to lose their first quarterfinal on this one. Crusaders error-ridden, maybe overtrained. Look, lots
That's
and lots. I wouldn't say overtrained. I think there's definitely players trying too hard, because hell, they really, really don't want to lose more games. Let's be blunt here. Players don't like losing. But the other side of it is they've had a lot of injuries. This is nowhere near the first team, and that's a real problem for them. They've not had a proper 10 all season, really. Rehana's new to it. Has played more at 15, I think, at Super Rugby level. And now to have Havili in there on the request of the All Blacks. Now, a whole bunch of people have gone and said, oh, look, the All Blacks shouldn't be dictating selection. Now, I think in some ways that Havili's turned around to Penny and gone, no, I don't want to play 10. I'm trying to be a centre at the All Blacks level. And now that Aretha's gone, by the way, David, I wouldn't mind seeing you have some time at 10. He's gone, okay, all right, then I'll have some time at 10. Because let's be honest, he was pretty much first choice replacement for Richard Mo'unga when he was injured at 10 sometimes. So why they'd be going and getting Ho Hepper and other players to put in there ahead of him? No, you wouldn't do if he would do it. My guess is that he didn't want to do it, and therefore they didn't try and force him until Razor said, "Hey, mate, do you mind doing me a favour?" And he's gone, "For you, sir, absolutely." And that's how I think they've got him there. So for all those people who are having a go at, I think actually from that point of view, on that one, the Halfpenny first game, was he good or not? Look, he's coming back from injury. He's coming back from injury.
So look, put that one on repeat. If I'm in hospital somewhere, just get a USB or something with that clip of Halfpenny's first kick in a Crusaders and Super Rugby, and just put that on repeat for me, and I'll just happily sit there and laugh for the rest of my days.
Oh dear.
What did you think of Havili at 10? That was my big thing from this match. What was your thoughts on him at 10? Obviously, that was a big talking point, right?
It was. I think it was okay. But you got all the commentators going, he needs to take a grip of this game by the neck, and it's like, no, he's not Mo'unga. He's not Richard Mo'unga. Okay, he's a solid player at 10, who you kind of other players can play off him. He's not a player who's going to take a grip of this game and run with it. Unfortunately for the Crusaders, one of the players who could do that, Scott Barrett, was off after about 10 minutes or whatever it was. And the other player who could do that was Sevu Reece. Unfortunately, plays so far out on the wing. Look, he comes in and plays a lot, but he's the wrong position to take his game by the scruff of the neck and actually control it. But he's the other player who could probably who can influence and drag this team up. He's been the best player for the Crusaders by a country mile this year. Now, if he was a 10, then maybe. But no, Havili fine. Nothing particularly bad. But again, he's not played in that position for a while. He's coming back off injury. I wasn't expecting anything spectacular out of him. Just solid. And I think that's all we got. I don't think we could expect anything else from him, to be fair.
I thought if I was pinpointing something he was really, really good at in that game, his kicking. I think he kicked really, really well. He's got a good kick on him, good distance, typically really accurate as well. What he did do well was those stupid cutout passes, man. You've got a back line. It doesn't mean you cut out everyone and go straight to the man closest to the touchline. And more often than not, it either goes forward or it goes straight to touch. Those need to go right back in the back pocket. I think he dished them out right at the start like 4 or 5 times. And I thought, geez, if he does any more of those, the Reds are going to gobble one of them up and they'll be gone down the other end very quickly. But
that goes back to kind of trying too hard to make things happen, I think.
Yeah. I think once he settled in, he was, like I say, solid. Not spectacular, just solid enough throughout the game. But yeah, I do agree with the comments in there from, who was it that said that about the Reds? They're better than the results suggest. Yeah, from Hologram. Impressive how they look under the coach, and they're better than they looked, and their results are shown. I agree. I think the Reds are just a team that are almost there, and they just have a few lapses, and they had that mid-season lapse where they really did completely fall apart a little bit. And amazingly, Lawson Crichton last week, awful, shocking, terrible. I thought he was absolute trash. This week, really, really good, really, really impressive. So I'm glad he found a way to turn that around, because I thought he had an outstanding match for the Reds, the young number 10. So that's massive for him. But yeah, it's a really good Reds team. I think the Crusaders played. I think they played a pretty good game for the Crusaders at the situation. Getting those players back, I think now having players that were starting, coming in off the bench is adding to them. And I think it's strengthened them a bit because you've got guys coming in who have a season now for this year at least, right? We've already got a good amount of minutes under their belt. They're used to starting. So they're coming on with some good match fitness. So that's really, really good. But I mean, what I can 100% agree with you on, commentators in this game were so woefully bad. Oh man, they were so bad. I wonder where the barrel is going here when we've got Isaac Boss getting called in to do like post-match interviews and stuff like that. And as a commentator, I don't know, man. I don't know, but shouldn't you be partial into what you're seeing and not just validating what the referee has literally said on there? Like that Crusaders try that clearly didn't touch the ground, but the TMO could only say nothing clear to overturn the decision. It didn't touch the ground. I thought that was pretty clear. But to have the commentators go, oh, well, how long's a piece of grass? I mean, come on. What are we watching here? I don't know. I think that was a shocking game commentary. Should have been put in the bin. But yeah, Reds, back to their best. I think they're going to be a really, really dangerous team. But for the Crusaders, yeah, I mean, where do they find a win? They need something big, and they need something back in the last few weeks to resuscitate any hope of this team. But I like the Reds. I really, really like the Reds, and I think the experience they've got in that pack is really starting to come to the front. I thought McWright and Wright had really good matches in that back row. Harry Wilson was pretty strong again for them, and they probably took more of the focus for the Reds than their backline did against Crusaders, which is a bit backwards to what we've typically seen from, your Flukes and the likes, Paisamis dominating with the Reds. So that was good to see. I think guys like, I'm kind of shocked I'm saying this, but Tumangarellan, I thought he has really added something to that Reds pack. He's not an incredible player, but at this level, I think he's really solid. And throwing in his experience has been really, really a good addition to that team. So I've been impressed by that. And I really like what I've seen from the Reds. I think going over and what was it, first time in how many years? Since 25 years or something, they've beaten the Crusaders in Christchurch. Something stupid like that, 21 years, 25 years, ridiculous. So yeah, good on them. Don't celebrate too hard because you get a game next week, right, Reds? Keep on target.
Absolutely. And again, the other thing is, look, they got ahead. They led 7-15, 7-12 at half time. So they're not having to chase the game, which is also a good thing for them. And early on, it helped settle them down. The Crusaders did pull it back to 21 all. Sorry, but they came back to score 2 more tries, and so again didn't let the heads drop after that as well. So it showed the early part of the game went their way, which helped them, I think. But then the second half they did show good character to keep going and not to think, oh shit, the momentum's against us. It's all gone now. We did try hard. They weren't the plucky loser, which is good to see. Look, some comments around the winger, Tim Ryan. Look again, look, another bright young thing out on the wing in Australia. They got loads of them, quite right comments of look, don't rush him into the Wallabies too quick. Let him just enjoy his season. Yes, absolutely. I think that applies to a lot of them. To be honest, from that point of view. But yeah, good. So well done to Reds on that one.
I think what a lot of teams have too with the stigma of playing the Crusaders too is they still believe they're the Crusaders of old, right? And like they get to that situation, I said it's 21 all. It's getting past that and not believing that you're down by 14 or 20 points at that stage, that you're still well and truly in the game, right? That's half the battle mentally, saying like, it's just another team. It's not the superstar star-studded side, and losing Barrett I think affected them a lot. But Halfpenny still thinks he's 21, but it's good to see Almura is actually starting to play like we thought and expect Almura to play. I haven't credited too many Crusaders players. I thought they had a pretty good game. I thought Shafiaki as well off the bench played pretty impactful too. I thought he was quite a bit of a jolt of electricity into that back line, which was really good. But yeah, Halfpenny, if you're one-on-one with an opposition back or back rower or maybe even second rower, don't try outpace him because you ain't doing it. Just pass.
Not
just
anymore.
Pass
yes.
and move on.
Look, some comments about the Reds won't stand a chance when they get the quarterfinals.
Yes, they will.
We've already said, look, the top 4 are ahead of everyone else, and that is the Hurricanes, Blues, Brumbies, and Chiefs. And everyone else has got to face one of those 4 in the quarterfinals. So everyone else is getting knocked out. Those 4 are your semi-finalists, right? So look, when we say we think the Reds are a good team, better than perhaps the results are, blah blah blah. Yes, they're best of the rest, but they're not in that top 4. Otherwise, they would be showing it by results. And so, no, I don't think the Reds will go deep in the finals. Do I think the Brumbies can? I do think they can, but I think home advantage is what they need. I think if they end up in that 3rd, 4th place, they're going to struggle come semi-final time. I think they need to get in that top 2, really. But yeah, the Brumbies could cause issues. And when he comes to a final, hey, it's one game. Who knows? All it takes is tools to chip over the top. The bounce goes away, and hey, presto, he scores, and you've won the tournament.
I think you'd be foolish to go into a quarterfinal against the Reds, albeit at home, thinking you've already won that game. You could win it by 40 points, or they will drive you to the last second of that match. Yeah, I wouldn't want. Look, out of that second 4, say if we look at the table right now and you say 5, 6, 7, 8, the Reds are the team I don't want. Literally, they're the team I won't want. I think they have the capabilities to beat anyone. They also get broke by 50.
They will go in as serious underdogs, right? At the end of the day. We're not saying they're going in with as a. Whereas, if you have the Fijian draw at home, then again, if they put together that scrum and their back attack, who knows? You don't just come down to one game.
Highlanders. You really want the Highlanders right now. You want the Highlanders to go, like, if I'm the Brumbies right now, I'm like, I want the Highlanders to go to Canberra. That's my pick. 100%, that's my pick. Or the Blues. Blues to say, the Highlanders, Eden Park, that's a win. The Canes at Westpac against the Highlanders, that's a win. Literally any of those top. The one that probably, I think one that's sweating the most is the Chiefs. I reckon at the moment they are the most beatable of those top 4 in their own backyard.
Well, I mean, they've lost the most games, so they clearly are, as well.
In terms of performances.
The table doesn't lie at the end of the day with these things. Even those losses, they got one losing bonus point out of 3 losses. So the other 2 losses, they were pretty big losses in that sense as well. Final game of the round then. Chiefs versus Western Force. 56-7. Chiefs, put this one to bed pretty early. Was kind of one of the pre-tournament favourites against the weakest team in the tournament. The Force didn't even score a try. The referee did for them with a penalty try because of a collapsed maul. So they couldn't even get across the line from that point of view. So they never actually even got across the line in this game. The Chiefs doing what they should do against the weakest team in the tournament at home. You can only play against the opposition that run out there against you. So there ain't much you can learn from this game, apart from the fact that the Chiefs were professional, got the job done.
Yeah, execute their plan, delivered the result, had some fun, scored some tries, found a new guy that likes scoring tries, and Daniel Rona. Look good. I mean, look, they're going through turnstiles, won't they? Their forced defense I was going to say at times, but pretty much all the time was decidedly average. The big concern for the Chiefs were the guys that went off, like you said, about at Star with Finau and stuff like that. Mackenzie, where there was a concussion. I've heard he's concussed. I've heard, was it a back or something? I've heard about 2 or 3 different things that actually he went off for. Honestly, I don't actually know what it is. All I know is he's hopefully injured for a while. Typically, probably till like August would be nice. Other than that, Chiefs executed well, did well. Josh Ioane, starting lineup next game. Backup number 10 for the All Blacks.
Whatever. Commentators were trying to pump up this game and said droves of people showed up. Pitiful commentary. Well, yeah, look, it was the 4th of May the 4th, and may the Force be with you, and all that kind of crap going on. Whatever. Yeah, that
was cringeworthy. That was absolutely cringeworthy. That stuff. Oh, yeah. Enough said.
So,
like I said, commentary the worst of the season by far. But New Zealand commentary too. The Aussies weren't as bad. they're just typically always meh. But the New Zealand ones, dude, woeful, man.
Actually,
Almost
charge
unlistenable.
downs was the only other thing I thought was quite a few charge downs this weekend, which I thought was so yeah. I thought that there was that side of things. There's stormtroopers at the sevens as well. Yeah, look, you get everything at the sevens. There was the Hong Kong sevens right the weekend, and having been there, I know I've been one of those people dressed up in one of those I've done Bob the Builder and the safari suits and pilots or sort of your Top Gun pilot thing. I've done all those sort of things. So yes, of course they have stormtroopers. They have stormtroopers every year, along with all the favourite one was when Madagascar got invited to the tournament. And they made and they had these people dressed up as penguins, and they picked the three guys dressed as penguins out the crowd and said, "Hey, team, have a photo with these guys." And they're like, "Why are we having a photo with penguins?" Of course, because of the movie,
yes.
The Madagascar thing. So yes, so the players were like, "What the? Why? Penguins don't come from Madagascar?"
Is that as much
Anyway.
of a highlight as the Chase the Colonel KFC run? I know you're a big fan of that.
Well, but also after once the tournament was over, these guys clearly had a few points too many, and decided to run on the pitch and obviously get tackled. So you had these three penguins running around the pitch trying to get with all the security guards trying to tackle them. So yeah, no, absolutely, we had that entertainment as well, but it was much more fun than some unfit person pulled out the crowd, told to race against a picture that's running down. It's not even a real person. So it's only a picture on a movie screen.
For chicken.
Anyway.
They'll make them more unfit.
So, should we look forward to next week?
Let's do it.
So, what we got? Round 12 next week. Wow. Geez, had that many rounds? So, Moana hosting the Chiefs at Mount Smart Stadium. And sorry?
Did you say Tonga?
In Tonga Mountain, in South Auckland, Tonga. Absolutely.
Oh man, embarrassing.
I'm just trying to see if they've got the actual if the TAB's got the odds up, because unsurprisingly for the picks. So Moana Pacifica at $12 on this one. Now apparently in a two-horse race. Apparently, both teams got a chance. No, they don't. This is the Chiefs by 30.
At least they'll get a silver medal. I agree with you. I'm going by 36 as my margin, since we're allowed margins on this one. But yeah, geez, look, this is what's so crap about this. Mount Smart just cruising up the road for the Chiefs. What is it? The 4 or 5 hour drive up from Hamilton up to Auckland. I don't know how long it is. 6 hour drive. 7, 8?
1.
Oh, it's only 1? You tell I'm not from the North Island.
It's in 40 actually to the well, as it's in South Auckland as well, it's even less. It's not even up into Central Auckland.
I rest my case. It literally might as well be a home game for the Chiefs. So all their fans be cruising the 45 minutes. That's pathetic. Look, every round home game for Moana next season needs to be out of this damn country. Tonga, Samoa. It has to happen. I don't care if it's in a village park with just plastic deck chairs from the warehouse.
Moving on. Now this one,
we're at the sin bin.
Reds versus Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a cracking game, I think. Now the pickers are at 94% Reds, and look, Reds clearly going to this one as favourites, but look, the Rebels have looked good this year. The Reds, will they have a hangover after beating the Crusaders away for the first time in God knows how many years they've won in New Zealand? This is a cracking game, much closer than I think either the bookies or the pickers have got it. The bookies got it at $1.25 Reds, at $3.80 Rebels. I think the Rebels are better closer than that, in all honesty. So whilst I think the Reds are going to win it, actually, I'm not. I'm going to go Rebels next one. Actually, sorry, but the Reds are the team that when they won Super Rugby Australia, then went on to lose all of their games in Super Rugby Trans-Tasman. Because they'd achieved their big goal, and then they couldn't come. They just couldn't get themselves back up to play another game. So Different head coach, maybe it'll be different. But I think the Reds got a problem with big things and then getting up next week.
You reckon beating the Crusaders was a big thing?
Yeah,
that hype. Yeah, it's a big thing, but it's not.
First win in New Zealand for like a decade or something for the Reds, something stupid like that.
Yeah, but it's the Crusaders. Like being the Crusaders isn't even as big a deal as being the Highlanders nowadays. How lowly is that? Look, I agree. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it should be fun. It should be lots of points, lots of tries. But I've liked the Reds since the very start of the season. I think their quality. Yep. Are they hungover? How many drinkies were on the plane back home? We're going to see on Friday night if there was a few bottles corked open on that.
But also, emotional hangover as well.
6-hour flight. Nah, they're locked in, man. They're locked in.
Reds beat the Chiefs in New Zealand last year. Yeah, they did. That's true. Oh,
it was in Canterbury, 25 years or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, in Canterbury. Yeah. All right, so I'm picking Rebels.
You go.
That's my upset for the weekend.
Drop that lead down even further.
And you're going down Reds. Yep. Next up, then, Blues versus the Hurricanes at Eden Park. Now, before we get to this, do I think the reviewer says? Do you think the Blues and Rebels? It's Blues and Highlanders can get 20k people to their games this week? No. Yes, I understand. Yeah, Highlanders have got the South Island derby against Crusaders. In theory, that should be a sellout at Forsyth Bar. And the Blues, we're looking at top two playing each other against Hurricanes, but it's a 4:35 kickoff. So in theory, you can take families. No, the Blues marketing. I mean, look, we talked earlier about Super Rugby teams and where they think their money comes from. Well, they think it comes from TV and from overseas travel. It's not from your home fans. They don't give a shit.
The problem with the Highlanders game is that I read last week that they are actually opening up the North stand to fans. So the only stand that's actually open, or stands that's actually open to fans at a Highlanders game, is the one you see on TV, which will be the South stand, and the one where the zoo is. The other end behind the posts is always empty. It's just a concrete jungle and they put toys and stuff for kids and balls to play with. And the TV side stand where the cameras are, they don't sell tickets for. So this Crusaders game, they're actually selling tickets. So typically in a 30,000-seater stadium, I'm guessing one side and the end is 15, maybe. No, it'll be less than that because your two sides will probably contribute to, probably 20 or 22 or something like that. So literally the max they can typically get in a normal game will probably only be like 12,000 at most. So if they open up the other side, look, they'll be lucky to crack double figure thousands, I reckon. They might get 12,000. They won't get anywhere near 20. And I don't even think they opened the other side of that stand because the initial side was selling. I just think they're like, oh, come on, let's get more people. We're opening up the other side. Whoa, to make a big deal out of it. So no.
And Hologram 2-pack says, look, they also put out the $15 ticket QR code last weekend. Now, if that doesn't tell you that they're struggling to sell tickets, nothing else does. I mean, yes, they did. At least they've done something, but it's taken them to round 13. I mean, how reactionary do you have to be? How stuck in the mud to not realize?
One weekend? Do it forever.
No, I think it's for all for the rest of the remaining.
Sunday. Midnight Sunday. They said during the broadcast. They said the QR code ends on midnight Sunday for any game. But that QR code expired on Sunday, unless they're going to do more. But that typically on those weekend games are only till Sunday.
So they
but yes, you're right.
Oh well, So for the next 4 rounds, you could have got $15, but you had to do it at the weekend. It expired yesterday,
yes.
So you had to have bought your tickets already. Why? No, just
let it run.
Run it
the rest of the competition.
Yeah. Run it for the
Don't even need a code.
Games. Madness. I missed that. I thought it was for the rest of the season. There we go. Isn't it a bit sad that crowds have shrunk from even 10 years ago? But New Zealand Rugby are not worried. Yes, that's why we rant about it every so often. Highlanders have had 12 to 13k this year for a game or two. Oh, well, so maybe they will hit that. But 20, no. I think
I'll hit that again.
Look, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Okay,
for sure.
But I'm not.
Hey, look, that stadium is an amazing atmosphere when it's full. I mean, it's incredible. Like roof stadiums, keep the sound in; they sound spectacular. So it would be incredible. Like if they want to get the team, you want to feel some home support. Stack that place out, and you'll feel it all right. That's for sure.
So next up, Blues Hurricanes. The picking is 49% Blues, 51% Hurricanes. The TAB has the Blues at $1.72, Hurricanes at $2.02. So the TAB thinks the Blues are more favourite than the pickers do. I'm going the Blues as well because I think home ground advantage.
Nah, Canes for me. That's head and heart. I want to see them top of the table. Best team. Brett Cameron, Ruben Love. They're the boys. I'm Hurricanes all the way. I'm on the Canes wagon for sure. And you know what else? Yeah, the Crusaders fans aren't going to drive 7 hours. Yeah, no, it's not 7 hours. 5 hours to go to the Highlanders either. None like this 1 hour stuff for the Chiefs.
So we're split on that one then. Yep. John on Twitch, what do you think the reason is tickets to is for the low crowds? Is tickets too expensive or predictable or something else? Something else. Look, if you go to the cinema, it's more expensive than going to the rugby. So no, it's not expensive from that point of view. It's not the cost thing. It's not to do with predictability. It's to do with the basically all the promotion is around selling Sky and getting people to watch it on TV. And Kiwis like the warmth of their home rather than going out to a wet game. And basically complacency and total lack of imagination by the Super Rugby franchises and New Zealand Rugby to actually get people in the grounds.
I love that comment from Hologram. Not that cinemas are doing that well these days anyway.
Well, maybe.
It's not wrong.
Maybe not, but still, it's not that. It's not really that. And with these specials and stuff, I've got friends up in Auckland who have got corporate tickets to give away, and they can't give away Blues corporate tickets, free tickets to the game. People just don't want to go because the Blues have just been so arrogant and just lost connection with the fans, and the fans, people just don't care anymore, basically. To be honest, most games would sell out if you had two here in Hawke's Bay, at least 20 K people in Hawke's Bay. Look, a game in Hawke's Bay sells out because of the rarity value. You don't get the opportunity. It's something special. If it started having 6 games there a year, I'm sorry, but
novelty wears off.
Novelty wears off, and I don't think people would.
Winter, it's pretty much winter. I don't know what you were like up there, but it's pretty cold down. I just saw Nocturnal's comment about winter start Chinese history. But speaking of winter, though, it's a lot colder at the moment. I thought it was about the temperature more than anything else, but it is a lot colder to go out as well. Like I say, people prefer to stay home in the warmth and watch on TV, especially when you've got 4 games back to back like they're doing on a Saturday as well.
And also, you've got to get into Eden Park where they stop parking anywhere nearby. So you've got to get your kids home again. It's just and public transport takes an hour to take what's a 20-minute drive. It just doesn't work from that point of view. It's in the wrong place, and it all just doesn't work. Stadium, what do you call it? Blah, blah, blah.
Transport.
Central Town on the waterfront stadium. Absolutely is what they should have done for the last Rugby World Cup that we had in New Zealand, but they didn't. There we go. Highlanders, Crusaders. Highlanders.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Why?
Because they're at home and because the Crusaders have been crap.
Have you not watched the Highlanders bar last weekend?
I agree. They're not good either. But then I agree. This is so we have games like the last game, Blues versus Hurricanes. It's about which team is going to be better. Okay.
Yes.
The Highlanders versus the Crusaders is about which team's going to be less worse.
I'm going for the masses. I'm going for the Crusaders.
I'm going for the Highlanders being less worse.
Crusaders to be less worse. It's a win-win for me. You know, if the
Well,
Crusaders win, I get it right. If the Highlanders win, it's like, woohoo, they actually won. But look, I mean, the Highlanders are improved.
If the Crusaders get Barrett back, they win. If they don't, they lose.
Yeah. I would agree on that.
Is somebody writing these picks down? This man is out of control. Absolutely. Look, these picks are going in my in my tipping, and yes, this is the most crazy I've ever been. I have never picked two upsets like this before. Actually,
the Highlanders an upset
at 38% picks compared to 62 for the Crusaders.
Now, what's the odds?
Crusaders are $1.52. The Highlanders $2.40.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, true. Okay.
It's not a massive upset. It's not like a $12 Moana Pacifica.
Wait,
but
what was it again? Highlanders $1.52.
Highlanders
$2. All the way around.
Yeah,
that's not a bad bet.
The bro, if someone out there picked Moana Pacifica over the Chiefs, they're on something. To be honest, yes. Someone is smoking something to have chosen that, but 1% have chosen Moana Pacifica. Which means at least one person has.
When they win, we'll be sure to pinpoint you next Monday when they win, Moana.
The Waratahs versus the Brumbies. I'm on the Brumby bandwagon.
I mean, is anyone on the Waratahs bandwagon anymore?
All those Crusaders fans think they're fantastic. Think they're an amazing team.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm on the Brumbies. Look, I'm on the Brumbies. I'm on the Reds. Look, they look good. They look. The Rebels are exciting, but I think those two, Queensland and ACT, are the real trendsetters at the moment. But yeah, Waratahs show a lot of promise, but I think they're going to just get a bit stomped on here by these Brumbies. What are the odds? We got odds for that one?
Yeah, the Waratahs at $3.60. The Brumbies at $1.25. This is the closest thing we get to a derby as well. These two teams actually do have there's a little bit about it. I mean, not big, but there's a little bit there. So at least the social media Twitter accounts tend to throw a bit of mud at each other in pre-game in a bit of fun.
Isn't this the what do they call them? The favoured rugby centres, you know, where the good players go, you know, that the Rebels and the Force people always complain about, you know, Of course you go to the Waratahs, or of course you go to the Brumbies.
Now then. Last game of the round. Force versus the Drua in Perth. What are you going?
Easy. Force. Perth. No one likes to go to Perth. Not even the Fijians. Although they probably will feel quite at home with the temperatures, but no. Force. Look, the Force are good enough, and I like their little boost at home. Drew are impressive last week. Again, do it again. Impress me again. And then I might not doubt you. But I'm not changing my mind on this one, regardless of last week's result. I do like the Force at home.
So the Force are $2.05. The Drua $1.67. The Drua favourites.
Money to be made there.
And the Western Force, from a picking point of view, 25%, whereas Fijian and Drua 75%. So a lot of recent memory, I think, on those ones. The Force have won their last two home games convincingly, says the reviewer. And John says, to be honest, I want Force and Waratahs to win, so Chiefs go third in the and Crusaders go to the bottom of the table. Yeah, I've got to go Force, actually. You're quite right. You've persuaded me.
Can the Draw win though? Yes, 100% the Draw can win this game.
So yeah, the multi's going on. I've not picked the Reds Rebels one because I think that you're quite. I've gone two out there on that one.
Come on, back yourself.
So even so, my $2 gets me $21 back if this works. So there we go.
What have you had the Rebels on? What do you get?
Oh, I don't know. I've not. I'm not doing it. No, it would be something stupid. You're
going to be sick if they win. You are going to spew.
If I get the other 5, I'll just be happy. I'll tell you that much. John doesn't care where everyone finishes as long as the Chiefs are top 3 and the Crusaders are dead last.
Go Moana.
On that one. So yeah, so it's, I think this is actually one of the more interesting rounds. Looking at it, and you've got you've got your Chiefs versus Moana up front, which I think is an obvious win. I think Reds Rebels is a decent game. Blues Hurricanes clearly 1 versus 2 hosting 1 in the table. Highlanders Crusaders I think could be a could be a good one. Waratahs Brumbies, yeah, that one should be a comfortable Brumbies win. And then the Force Drua is the two teams that love to play at home and not away, but the Drua are definitely better than the Force. Can they? That's just intriguing, that one. So to me, I think we've got 4 decent games here probably this weekend. So which is a good round for me.
If that Drua game was in Fiji, it would be a no-brainer. It would be not even close.
Absolutely.
That's an equalizer, right? Putting it in Perth. It's a bit like the Highlanders Crusader. If it was in Canterbury, would you be 100% Crusaders, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. It's an equalizer.
Yeah, but I'd be shown to be totally wrong with the fact that they've lost to the bloody Reds in Christchurch. So, even though I do agree, though, that so if Moana win, I'm going to rage quit, says John. Oh no. Hologram 2-pack says still the Drewers win for him if they don't get carded.
I mean, I don't disagree with anyone saying that Drew's going to win. I wouldn't argue with you. You got to flip the coin.
No, it's I mean, can they? Yes. Do I think they will? Is a different ballgame. Yeah.
But if people say the Drew, they think the Drew is going to win. I don't think there's an argument to say that they're wrong in that opinion, if that makes sense. It's that equal.
Yep. Which 4 teams do you think will miss the playoffs now? And I got it's difficult looking at this. I've not looked at the upcoming games on this one, but in Moana Pacifica and the Force are 2 obvious ones. The way the Crusaders are playing, they've only won 2 games all season, so I've got no confidence they're going to make it either. And the Tars, look, they can only beat the Crusaders. So at the moment, I can't see. I mean, there's only a 3-point gap, so it's not like the bottom 4 are out of it by any stretch of imagination. But I can see the Fijian and Drua picking up points, definitely at home. I can see the Highlanders picking up points as well. The Huns, that's the one I'm least concerned. I'm least sort of confident with. But I think the Reds and Rebels, I'm happy are going to be there. So I think Reds, Rebels, and Drua, I think are going to be in the top 8. So I'm happy with pretty much as it is now. Moana, Crusaders, Waratahs, Force are the 4 that are going to miss out.
So we've only got 12, 13, 14, 15. 4 rounds to go. Okay. Drua have 2 home games left. I'm just coming a quick look through. At home in round 15, they've got the Rebels, which I mean, you'd probably back them to win. They've got the Reds at home as well, which I think could be a quite good game, but you'd probably back them to win that one too. On the road, obviously they've got the Western Force this weekend, and they have in between that, they've got the Highlanders at Forsyth Bar. I mean, I think the draw are pretty safe. I think we can comfortably give them 2 wins minimum out of that. The big one for me is does Moana pick up any points? I don't think so. Looking at them, when they got the Chiefs, they got the Hurricanes in Wellington, then they have the Waratahs at Mount Smart. So stupid, and then the Crusaders. So, do they pick up enough points? That's my big question for that. I think I agree. Reds, Rebels, they're safe. And where do the Highlanders pick up points? Right. So round 15, the Highlanders are away to the Hurricanes. That's the L. They have draw at home. Okay, they can win that possibly. Crusaders. No, that's the Brumbies. Sorry, I've read the wrong thing. Blues. Yeah, that's a loss at Eden Park. So the Highlanders, what are they going to pick up? Maybe 1-2 if they beat the Crusaders this weekend. So I think the Highlanders are under threat. This game, I think, for the Highlanders and the Crusaders is almost 8 or 10 pointer, depending on how much they pick up. If someone comes away with this with a bonus point win, that's a 10-point game, because they're probably your closest rival to taking your spot or to leapfrogging. If the Crusaders pick up 5 points, they're 1 point behind the Highlanders. Game on, season on. But yeah, so this is a huge game for the Highlanders. But yeah, I agree. Reds, Rebels. If I was going to pick it now, I'd say that the bottom four are in place. I think they're in place.
Yeah, because I think so. You're right. I think the Drew will pick up those couple of games that they need.
Mm-hmm.
They might even pick up the Force
so.
next weekend. They'll definitely pick them for the Reds. And look, if they put that performance in they did against the Brumbies against the Highlanders, they're picking up that. The Drew could win all four of the last games. They could finish they could win four more games here and shoot up the table.
And that puts the Highlanders at massive risk too.
Yes, it does.
If they lose that game to the Drua and the Crusaders, then they're under threat. This weekend is huge.
It is. I mean, one have got the Chiefs, which are going to lose. The Hurricanes are going to lose.
Yep.
The Waratahs at home, they could probably win that one, and then they're away to the Crusaders. The Crusaders got the Blues and the Brumbies. The Brumbies is away as well, which are losses. So yeah, look, it's going to be tight. But you're kind of looking at, even if the Highlanders do lose games, you're kind of like, well, if they get this win this weekend, then that's it. Yes. Because I can't see the other teams picking up enough wins. Because what are the Force? The Force have got the Drua this weekend. Then they've got the Waratahs at home. That's a win. They're away to the Reds. And then they've got the Brumbies at home. And that comes down to, do the Brumbies need points in that last round? So will they rest some players again? So if the Brumbies have got themselves in their position and can't move, either up or down, I can see them resting players to the quarterfinals there, in which case the Force could again end up with 2 or 3 wins. And they are 7 points behind though, so they do need 3 wins.
Yeah.
But yeah, if as long as the Highlanders win this weekend, I just can't see where those other teams beneath them will get points.
Yeah, like I think that the one thing is Highlanders and Crusaders swapping places. That's my possibility.
So the Highlanders and Crusaders, yeah, okay,
yeah. Not directly swapping place, but like exchanging out positions in the top 8. Yeah, but that comes down to this weekend for me.
But Moana, Tars, and Force are gone.
I just don't see Moana picking up enough wins. I don't see them. They just don't look convincing enough to pick up wins for me, especially like I don't even see them beating Crusaders in Christchurch. Yeah, Waratahs. That's it.
But they've got that Chiefs and Hurricanes. That's it. And they're going to lose the next 2. Done.
Exactly.
And then it comes down to that. Can the Waratahs pick up other games? They've got the Reds at home. They've got away to the Force, and the Brumbies at home. And they've got they've got a very weak run-in, really. I think they got with Force, Moana, Reds.
I believe those bottom 3 teams need to win 3 games of their last 4.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think the Drua are going to be on at least 20. Add 8. I think add 8 points to them. I think they're going to be on 25. The Highlanders will be the one I think will drop to 8. They could be on, say, 23 if they only win one of their last 4, which means that you need 3 wins. Like Moana need 3 wins to get on to 4, 8, 12, 26, right? Or else they'll be on 22. I'm not counting bonus points because, geez, that's a bit of a question mark. Yes, but I believe Crusaders, Moana, Waratahs, all Force will need 3 out of 4 wins their last 4 games to have a chance.
The Crusaders are not getting 3 out of 4. Not with the Brumbies. Not away to the Brumbies and home to the Blues. I can't see them winning both. Those are so. Yeah, that bottom 4 I think is pretty much stick. As you say, the Landers are the ones most under threat.
Yep.
Out of the top, out of those other ones above them.
Win to not win this weekend, and they're home.
So yeah, so there you go, folks. Oshia, come on, sorry, no idea what your name is. Sorry, it's far too complicated on Twitch. You reckon Chiefs will lose this week? Hell no. that's the easiest game to predict this weekend. They will beat Moana. Sorry, but they're not up for it. That's just not going to happen this weekend. Cool. All right, folks.
Who's gonna top the table? Blues or Canes? You reckon that's going to be decided this weekend? You reckon whoever wins this is going to stay top for the rest of the season?
So a quick Oh, it's in the hands of the Chiefs, isn't it? The Chiefs played both teams in the last 2 weekends. God, it's close. God,
I agree. Plummer ain't it, buddy. You're onto it.
The yes, I do need Professor. Oh, geez, yeah, it's close. It's too hard to call at the moment. But you look
triangle.
At that, okay, so the Brumbies running is Waratahs will win, Crusaders at home they should win, Rebels at home they should win, and the Force away.
They could win,
but they could win. So if the whoever wins this weekend out of the Blues and Hurricanes and they lose against the Chiefs, suddenly Brumbies are in with a shout of being top in the table. So those other teams have got to be squeaky clean. Now, the Brumbies' problem is they can't score enough tries at the moment. So they need the bonus points as well as the wins in this one, because they've only got 3 bonus points compared to 6 for the Hurricanes and 2 for the Blues. So not only do they need the wins, they need the bonus points too. And they've just not been very good at getting those this year. So that's a big thing for them. But yeah, they're still in with the shout of top in the table.
And the Chiefs topple both of them. Then it's all on.
Well, then it's yeah.
John will be having a fantastic fit of joy.
I think the problem is I can't see the Chiefs having enough fit players.
Nah. Sorry.
Anyway, let's wrap things up. Thank you, everybody, and we'll be back again next week. We're back again on Twitch as well, on Corflex channel. And actually, all of you guys on Twitch can play to him and say, "Oh my God, why the hell are you putting this on your channel?" But if you've enjoyed it, we'll be back next Monday at 8 p.m. To go through all the action from this weekend's of Super Rugby, and also a chat about anything that's kind of in the rugby news that we fancy talking about or ranting about, which is much more likely than actually talking. Because we do like a good old rant, or I do anyway, and Steve puts up with it. So thank you, Cornflake. Anything? Any kind of special watching sort of parties or stuff you got going on this weekend?
No, I just like ranting. That's.
No, I mean, are you live streaming any of the games?
No, unknown. Possibly in the weekend, or possibly just MLR at the start of the next week. MLR is fun. We'll see. Yeah, I will look to try and do some. Now that it works, we can stream some games together on Twitch.
I reckon we could do a watch along for Reds Rebels and also Highlanders Crusaders this weekend. So maybe, folks, look out for those.
Get those notifications up. Hit the follow button.
Yep. Hit the follow button. Hit the bell. All that kind of stuff. Good night. Stay safe.